Hey guys, so I am back with another Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Season 6 review. This review is for episode 15. This season is winding down. This season is almost coming to an end. So if you did not catch my reviews for episodes 1 through 14, please go check those out. So this episode starts with Lyrica's pre-epsies performance, and she really is taking this seriously because she said that she's a new mom and it's important for her to really focus on her music now. And so A1 is there and he's trying to help her get everything set up to where it's perfect for her so that there's no mistakes during her performance. And so he was saying how he wants to leave people out of their business because he felt some type of way about Lyrica's mom coming at him at Lyrica's performance rehearsal. And so she kind of just told him that she didn't want to talk about it. And I feel like she didn't really want to talk about it because she didn't want her mood to be ruined for for her performance. But I feel like she also feels like he doesn't have a right to tell her that he doesn't want their parents involved in their relationship when his mom is a constant pain in the ass when it comes to his to their relationship. So I kind of found it funny how he was trying to tell her that when she should be telling him that. So Lyrica is excited to perform because she feels like this could lead to her having a tour because her career has kind of taken a standstill. She's actually a really good singer and her music is actually really good if you've ever taken the time to listen to it. But I just feel like her career is not necessarily going in the direction where she really would want it to. So hopefully she focuses more on herself and her music than she does on her situation with A1. And so what I did like about this scene was that A1 was making sure that her mic was set up specifically the way that she wanted it to be. And I thought that was good that he was having her back so that she could have a good performance. But I do also think that the only reason why he's taking an interest in trying to make sure that her career is going the way that she wants it to is because he's trying to get in the good graces with her. He's trying to make things work with her. And although it's good that he wants to make things work with his wife, it's going to take a lot more than that to fix their friggin' toxic relationship. And so Lyrica's mom was saying that she felt like Lyrica would do better if she focused more on herself and her career than focusing on her drama that she has with A1, which I completely agree with her mother. I feel like she should put more emphasis on working on her career rather than stressing out over A1 all the time. And hopefully they figure something out because they do have a son. But after her performance, which was a pretty good performance, she ended up going backstage and A1's like all over her trying to sleep with her and backstage in her dressing room, and he like kicks the camera crew out, and I guess she slept with him in there. I don't know if she did or not, but I just feel like, that was a mistake right there to, do anything physical with this man after he's cheated on you all these many times and you guys are still trying to work things out. You sleeping with him is just confusing things even more. So Apple and Teairra Marie are at Lyrica's pre-epsies performance, and they end up going up to each other, and they're talking, even though Teairra is Zell's cousin, and she lives with Zell in Paris. And Zell and Paris have an issue with Apple because they had gotten into some type of altercation at the bus that they were taking to go to Las Vegas. And so Teairra was saying that even though she knows that Zell and Paris have an issue with Apple, she's still interested in working with Apple because she said that she wants to work with up-and-coming artists. And she was saying that, she likes Apple and she has a lot in common with Apple, which could be true, but I just feel like Teairra should be focused more on her own career instead of trying to work with different people, especially up-and-coming artists. I feel like she should want to work with an artist who's already more established because Teairra actually can sing really well. Her career's just not going where she wants it to because I think that maybe, I feel like Love and Hip Hop is not, a good place for Teairra to be in. I feel like she's better off just focusing on her music and not being a reality TV star because ever since she's been on reality TV, her life is going up and down and up and down and up and down. And I just feel like it's just not the right situation for her to be in. But she wants to work with Apple. And so Zell and Paris end up catching Teairra with Apple, and so Paris goes over there. Zell doesn't go over there because he feels like there's going to be some drinks being thrown. Now, I thought that there was going to be some type of physical altercation when Paris goes up to Apple, but they actually end up squashing the beef that they had, okay? because they ended up talking about how, she threw the drink. She didn't mean for the drink to hit Apple, and she doesn't have a problem with Apple. And I like the way the ladies handled the situation. I feel like they did the opposite of what everybody thought they were going to do. Everybody probably thought they were going to fight. And I think that Apple in particular handled the situation very well. And I feel like that's the way that she needs to handle situations going forward, because I really am rooting for Apple. I hope that she is able to get her career where she wants it to be, because it really was unfortunate that guy told her he didn't want to work with her because of the way that she speaks on her social media. So I feel like she's trying to clean up her act a bit. Now, Zell ends up going over there and is like, there's no drinks being splashed, right? Because he knows that that's what happens when all those ladies are together. And so Lyrica and A1 end up walking up to them, and they're hand in hand, and everyone's like telling them that they should keep on working on their relationship, and they go through ups and downs, but they're still trying to work on it, and that they're good together. And I was just like, what type of friends are you guys that you guys are telling her to stay in a situation that's toxic for her? Like, the girl can't even make up her mind whether or not she wants to stay with A1 or not. And you guys are making it even worse by you guys putting your 2 cents into it. Telling her to stay with a man who clearly doesn't respect her because he continues to cheat on her constantly in the public eye for people to see it and embarrass her like that. And it's just like, I just feel like everybody should stay out of their relationship. I feel like some of them want them to stay together just because they're friends with both of them. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. April and Drew end up having a housewarming party, and April was saying that she only wanted to invite positive people. She only wanted people there who support her relationship with Drew, not the people who just want to gossip about her situation, which I think it's a good thing that she wants to only surround herself with positive people. I mean, that's what you should do at the end of the day. So her friends get her a big A2K sign, and she says that it's just fun to poke at the situation. And I think that that's actually embarrassing, because they're basically calling you a pass around to the guys in B2K. You have children and was dating Omarion, and now you're dating Drew. Which, if they're even truly dating, because we don't even really know, because, for storylines, these people do all types of different things. So you never really know who's really together and who's not. So Drew talks with Mickey Monday, and he says that you can't control who you fall in love with. And according to Moniece, which I don't know if Moniece is telling the truth, because sometimes you can't tell when she's being honest or not. But when she was on Hollywood Unlocked, she had said that after Drew and Omarion fell out, that's when Drew tried to, get close to April. So if that is true, then he could help who he fell in love with, because he got himself close to April, who he shouldn't have had that type of close relationship with in the first place. And so April says that she feels like she's on top of the world, and she was talking to one of the guys that's her friend who used to be friends with Omarion, but they ended up falling out, and he was like co-signing everything she was saying about her relationship with Omarion, that she felt suffocated and that she was miserable with Omarion, and how she was actually glad he dumped her because he actually set her free. And I don't believe her completely, okay? I'm not saying she's lying. She has every right to tell her truth. But if he was that bad of a person and you wanted out of that relationship so bad, then why are you claiming you were so depressed when the relationship ended? Because if he really was that bad and you really felt that suffocated with him, you really wouldn't even care if he broke up with you or not. You would have probably broke up with him. And so that raises red flags in my eyes. But I mean, if she's happy with Drew, she's happy with him. I don't agree with, dating somebody who is your children's father's ex-friend and bandmate. But I mean, ultimately it's their decision what they choose to do. And so she was saying that she wants her and Omarion to be cordial with one another for their children. That's all she really wants to do. And she was saying how she hopes Moniece and Drew are able to do the same thing. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Like, definitely not. Drew and April are actually getting a lot of flack from other celebrities. If you go on Instagram, you see a bunch of other celebrities commenting on the two of them being together. Now, they all talk about how Moniece was trashing Drew on Hollywood Unlocked, and how the video of April talking about all the famous men who tried to get at her and try to sleep with her. And her friend was trying to say that April was being sarcastic in that video. She really didn't mean the things that she was saying, and they didn't show the whole video because the whole video was her like joking about stuff, and I just didn't believe that at all. I feel like April was probably drunk and she was serious about all the things she was saying about all these famous men who wanted to sleep with her, and she felt gassed up because all these guys try to get at her, which April is a beautiful woman, so that's understandable that they try to get at her, but I don't think she should have been on no Instagram live putting that out there like that, because it just makes her look bad. So K Michelle's in the studio and she's preparing for her country music album, and she has so much thoughts spinning around in her head when it comes to this country music album. One, she doesn't know how her fans are going to react to her making a country music album. She also doesn't know how the country music fans are going to take to her when she makes the album, because the country music fans are predominantly white and country music is dominated by white people. So she kind of wants to add color to country music. She said that she didn't want to take it over, which I don't think she would be able to take it over anyway, because I don't know, I'd have to hear her country music song in order to even say if it's a genre that she'd be good at. But I do think that she should break into country music, because it's something that she keeps talking about she wants to do. So if she really wants to do it, I think that she should do it. She was also saying that she doesn't know where she wants to record the album, because she doesn't really want to be in LA. She doesn't feel like LA is the right scene for her to record a country album, and she really just doesn't want to be in LA in general, which I hear a lot of people who move from other states to LA and complain about the way that LA is, so I can understand why she doesn't really want to live there. And so the guy who was in the studio with her, to me, was like putting more pressure on her for this country album, because he was saying that it's going to be harder for her because she's a black woman and she's trying to break into country music, which is true. It is going to be difficult for her to do, but I also feel like he's making it even harder by saying things like that when she already knows that it's going to be hard for her. So we'll see what ends up happening with this country music album that K Michelle's been talking about she wants to do. Maybe she'll do well, maybe she won't. We'll have to just wait and see. So Paris and Zell are pretty much ready for Teairra to move out. It's almost like she overstayed her welcome, and it's not going well with her living there. So they really want her out. You can tell that there's some type of tension between all of them in the house. And so Zell is sitting down with Paris and Teairra, and he tells them that he's about to launch his fashion line, and during his fashion line launch, he's going to also release his first EP, which he said that he wants to do it together because they're both really important to him, which I actually think is a really good idea. So Teairra ends up telling them that she wants Apple on a song for her on her EP. She wants Apple to rap on one of her songs, and Zell has a problem with it. He gets really annoyed. You can tell that he's bothered by it, and he tells Teairra that why would she try to work with somebody who don't really give a damn about her and who doesn't really make any type of music. But when he tried to do studio time with her, she didn't end up showing up to the studio time, and so he felt some type of way about that. And so he gets annoyed because he feels like nobody takes his music seriously, and so he gets mad at Teairra because she's kind of making it seem like she doesn't feel like he takes his music seriously either. So they're getting pissed off and mad at each other, and him and Teairra end up arguing, okay? And he basically tells Teairra that he wants her out. And Teairra starts telling the cameraman to get the camera out of her face, And it's like, you can tell that Teairra hasn't completely changed her ways. And that's why I feel like reality TV is not a good situation for her to be in, because every time she gets mad, she's telling the camera to get out her face. But you signed a contract to do the show. So the cameras are there. The cameras are going to follow you. Cameras are going to record you. I don't know why she's yelling at the cameraman. But I feel like Zell handled the situation wrong. Instead of flipping out on Teairra, he should have talked to her about it and actually told her why he was bothered by it, instead of the way that he came across. Because certain type of people, especially people like Teairra, you have to say things in a certain way. And I don't think you should sugarcoat anything, but I also feel like it's the way that you say things to people. So it's not what he said, it's the way that he said it to her. So, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening with the two of them, but that's why it's not good to really have family or friends really living with you, because it gets things, it causes a lot of tension. Zell has himself and Paris doing a casting call for his fashion show launch party called East Avenue, which I love the name of his fashion line. I think that it's perfect. And so Booby ends up showing up to pretend like he's trying out, and he notices that Teairra's not there on the panel, and he came there for Teairra because Teairra's actually interested in him. I guess she finds him attractive, and so she's interested in him. And so they end up telling Booby why Teairra wasn't there because Teairra didn't go because of her argument with Zell. So Zell ends up telling Booby about the situation between him and Teairra, and he gets emotional because both Booby and Paris are letting him know that, if he feels some type of way about something, he needs to learn how to say it and tell people how he feels, but not do it in the way that he does, where he lashes out and he's really harsh in the things that he says, because people think of him as really messy all the time. They think of him as a bad person, basically, and they say that they know the real Zell, and they feel like he should let people see that side of him because he feels like he's misunderstood, and that's why he broke down crying. And so, I feel like Zell is messy because he does a lot of messy things, like taking those pictures of April and Drew and sending them to Hollywood Unlocked. To me, that was messy, because even though you guys are not friends anymore, I still don't think you should, do something like that to somebody you were once friends with. And so Zell is messy, but I'm not going to say that he doesn't have a good heart. I'm not going to say that he's not a good person. I don't know, but he's just going to have to learn to show that side of himself to people so that he's not always misunderstood, because you can't complain about being misunderstood, but then, all you show people is your messy side. So we'll see what happens with that, but I think that Booby and Paris were right about all the things that they said to Zell. Sorry if you hear, the sound of wind. It's the heat is on because really freezing on the East Coast right now. So anyways, Jason is hosting an event, and Miss Nikki baby, but I'm not going to call her that. I'm going to call her Nikki, okay? So I'm not calling her Miss Nikki baby. So Nikki returns, and she says that Teairra has been staying with her since Zell and her got into it. I wonder when Teairra's apartment's going to be ready, because it's just she's staying with all these people. I don't feel like it's a good idea for her to be staying with anybody. So Teairra ends up walking over to the rest of the people at the event, and she falls, okay? She falls. And the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is she drunk? But she was saying that she's not drunk, that she hasn't even been drinking. And so I don't think that people believed her, though, because every time Teairra says that she's not going to do things like that, she ends up doing it anyway. But I don't think she was drunk at this event. I just think she couldn't walk in the shoes that she was wearing. So Jason, Teairra, Nikki, and Moniece talk, and Moniece says that Jess Hilarious told her all of April's business. Jess Hilarious is a comedian. She got famous on social media, and her and April were best friends, and I guess April and Jess had fell out, and Jess ended up telling Moniece a lot of April's business, and so April put that information. So Moniece put that information on social media, which I think Moniece was wrong for that. I feel like Moniece needs to learn how to handle things better, because she makes herself like the villain. Even if she's right in a situation, she makes herself look bad, because everybody, basically took her side at that skate party event that they had, because I didn't feel like she was in the wrong at that time, but now that she's putting out people's personal business all over social media and stuff, I feel like now she is in the wrong. So I don't know how to feel about that whole Moniece putting out April's information all over the internet. And so Mickey ends up telling Moniece that Drew and her need to work things out for the sake of their son. And Moniece was telling him that she's tried to, and that her son's stressed out because he doesn't want to upset his dad, but he doesn't want to upset her either. And so the kid is basically caught in the middle, which is every reason why the two of them need to figure something out, because it's not right for their son to have to deal with their toxicity just because the two of them can't fully move on. Because obviously Moniece is not over Drew. I just don't think she is. I don't think she is, because I just feel like you wouldn't act the way that Moniece does if you're not over somebody. So Moniece said that she's going to try one last time to talk to Drew about their son, but if it doesn't go well, that she's going to try to get full custody of their son. And I'm like, this is getting messier and messier by the minute. Hopefully they figure something out, because their son's the one who's going to suffer in the end. And I feel like Moniece needs to stop being messy now. K. Michelle, her friend Sabrina, and Carly Red end up going to this place to get a yoni cleanse, okay? Which is odd to me that they did a yoni cleanse on national television. That's really, weird to do on TV. And K. Michelle invited her surrogate there. She's decided to go with Tone as her surrogate, but she let her surrogate know that she's not interested in being around her during the pregnancy because she's not carrying the baby herself, so she just doesn't feel comfortable with the situation. And so K. Michelle Michelle told the ladies that she decided to move back to Atlanta because LA wasn't the right place for her, I think that K. Michelle will do better in Atlanta too. So hopefully she ends up going to Atlanta and staying this time, because she keeps moving around a lot, and I feel like that's unhealthy for somebody to continuously keep moving. So Lyrica is basically at A1's house, because it is A1's house because she moved out of it. And she's there with their son, and she's at the pool. And she's saying that she's doing a play date with A1 because she's going to continue to keep doing the play dates and see where everything ends up going with the two of them. But that she's still living in the hotel until she finds a place of her own, because she doesn't know where her relationship is going to go with A1. She said that she wants to fall back in love with A1, and she can if he can prove himself to her, but that she's not naive enough to believe that he's changed that fast, which is true. He didn't change. He's not done doing his dirt yet, and I just feel like she'll be wasting her time if she keeps waiting around for him. I also feel like she needs to figure something out soon, because all this sitting around contemplating whether or not you're going to be with somebody is just dumb to me, because they're in an okay place now from the show at this point. But I mean, who knows what's going to happen, because we're really not going to know until like the reunion happens and see what happens with the two of them. But I feel like she needs to make it her mind. Either she wants to be with him or she doesn't. If she's basically damned if she does, she's damned if she don't with A1 at this point, because if she takes him back, then basically she's letting him know that no matter what he does to her, she's going to keep taking him back. And if she doesn't take him back, she's still going to have to deal with him because they have a son together. And so hopefully they figure something out now, because whether they choose to be together or not, they have a child and they're going to have to be cordial regardless. Teairra ends up meeting up with Zell so that they can talk about their little argument that they had at the house. And basically Teairra tells Zell that she needs love and support. She doesn't need the harsh love that, Zell gives her. He's kind of harsh on her, and the way that he talks to her, she really doesn't like it. And so he was trying to tell her that he was hurt because she chose to work with Apple on one of her songs when he tried to do that with her, and he actually cares about her, and she chose instead to work with somebody who doesn't even really care about her. And so he said that he's hurt about it. But she was basically telling him that that's what he should have, told her in the first place, instead of flipping out the way that he did, which he did. He shouldn't have flipped out the way that he did. And he actually apologized to her for that. They both agree that the two of them both have done things for each other and helped each other out when they needed it. And she told Zell that she didn't like that he threw in her face, that he let her stay with him, because she let him stay with her too before. And so she didn't like that he was throwing it in her face, which I agree with her. That's why I don't let people do things for me, because when you let people help you, they throw it in your face. And so they both ended up agreeing that they was going to try to work things out in the way that they talk to each other. And so hopefully they can figure something out, because they are a family. They are living under the same roof. So something's going to have to give, because their relationship seems like it's like a mess. April's sitting outside with Drew, and she says that she's hurt and she feels betrayed by Jess, which Jess definitely did betray her by running to Moniece with information about her and Drew and telling it to somebody who doesn't like April. That is betrayal. And so Jess ends up showing up, okay? And basically April says that she's disgusted and angry, and she feels like she can't trust anybody, and that she, at this point, she doesn't even want friends, because if friends are going to do her like that, she just feels like she shouldn't be dealing with them. Because first, Zell went and took pictures of her and Drew together in Vegas and gave it to Jason Lee, and he put it all over Hollywood Unlocked. Now Jess is going and telling Moniece personal information, and now Moniece put that information out on the internet. So Jess ends up showing up, and Drew tells her that they're disappointed in her, and Jess seems like she feels sorry and feels bad for the things that she did, and she seems like she wants to make the friendship work with April. And so they ask Jess what happened, and Jess basically tells April that them two had fell out. Jess and April had a falling out, and Jess said that she was trying to contact April, but April wasn't answering any of her phone calls, so she was pissed at April for not answering her phone call. So one day, Moniece had ended up hitting her up and asking her for information about Drew and April, and Jess said that because she was mad, she gave the information to Moniece, and Moniece ended up putting that information all out on social media, which was wrong. And so April and Drew were basically saying that they're not surprised that Moniece did something like that because that's something Moniece would do. And I feel like Moniece is actually kind of starting to look like the bad guy in this situation. And basically Jess wants to move forward in her friendship with April. And April says that she wants to move forward with her friendship with Jess, but that she needs some time because she's scared now because she feels like Jess might do that shit again. And so Jess was basically saying that she wants to see Moniece face to face because Moniece put that information out. Now, I do think that Moniece was wrong for going to one of April's friends and trying to get information on her and then taking that information and putting it onto social media. I think that Moniece is being messy, and I think that it has a lot more to do with the fact that she's not over Drew while she's doing all this extra shit. And this is what I say about Moniece. You feel bad for Moniece, you end up having sympathy for Moniece, but then she goes and she makes herself look like the messy one in the situation. And so, which that doesn't take April and Drew off the hook for the way that they've been acting and the fact that the two of them are together when their relationship shouldn't have even came about, because to me it's inappropriate to be in a relationship with somebody who has such close proximity to somebody you have children with. So for me, I don't really agree with April and Drew's relationship, but at the end of the day, it's their choice what they choose to do. I'm just spectating on what I see. And so Jess was absolutely wrong, though, and I feel like April's stupid if she befriends Jess again, because Jess is wrong. Like, just because you fall out with somebody does not mean you go and put all their business out, especially giving it to somebody who really doesn't like her. That was wrong, and I feel like April can never trust Jess again. And so if she ends up being friends with Jess again, I feel like she's stupid, because Moniece didn't manipulate her. She chose to give that information to Moniece, and so that makes her look like a backstabber and not a true friend, and I feel like April's stupid if she gives Jess another chance at friendship. And the episode cut there. I thought it was a pretty good episode. I'm interested to see how this season ends up coming to a close, because the season is literally almost over. I thought that, April actually is getting backstabbed by a lot of people. I feel like people are bothered by her relationship with Drew, and she has been acting a little different since she's been with Drew, but I also don't feel like that gives you an excuse to backstab somebody. I also feel like Lyrica needs to figure out her situation with A1, because it's getting kind of old with the two of them doing this back and forth. I feel like Teairra needs to focus more on herself and getting her mind in the right place and her health in the right place so that she can take her career to the next level where she wants it to be. I also don't feel like Love and Hip Hop is the best career choice for her to be doing. I also feel like Zell needs to learn how to show a softer side of himself, because he's always showing us the messy side. So that's the reason why we always think of him as messy. So I want to know what you guys think about this episode down in the comment section. Like this video, subscribe to my channel for more videos. I have so many more videos to come, and I want to thank all my subscribers for the support. I appreciate you guys so very much. You guys make this so much more fun for me, and I will see you in my next video.